Hi, welcome back to another video in this series. So in the last video, we did some certificate management. This will be the final video for part one of this particular series. We're going to be doing some frameworks, controls, policies, and procedures. So like GRC work, so it's going to be mainly just documentation and a bit of talking in this one, more so than actual application in the lab, but I'll do something. But mainly just want to talk about frameworks, controls, policies, right? So security within an organization, right, is a combination of frameworks, right? Security controls, policies, procedures, right? And all these components put together, they form a strong security posture within the organization. So we're going to uncover some of these as far as framework, which is you have different types, right? So you have prescriptive framework, you have risk-based framework, you have policies and procedures, a set of guidelines, right, to define a clear objective for the organization, right? So then you have code of conduct and ethics, and you also have acceptable use policies, right? Password policies as far as using MFA, what forms of MFA. Um, Also, after a certain amount of time, does your password expire, and does it have to be a certain amount of characters and special characters in order to quantify it to be an actual password that we're looking to accept. So you also have data ownership, data retention, account management. I mean, some of these are just pretty much self-explanatory as far as within their name. You have continuous monitoring and a few other things, right? So just going to click here so we can actually take a look at something really quick. Right, it's going to be a communication plan, right? So shouldn't take long. It's just a PDF, right? Next is me. So just a bit. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so what we can see from this communication plan, right? So we have a few things. It just shows us generic matrix designed to allocate like each team member with a responsibility, right? So when certain meetings will occur, it shows the deliverables like with stakeholder and upper management teams, right? So we can actually see what everybody's doing and the progress of what everybody's doing, right? So we just have a communication plan that you go over a few different things, as you can see: initial project meeting, introduction project to relevant parties, ensure delivery of project moving at the expected pace, alongside the delivery plan, one-on-one calls and completion for emails, and you have different security control categories too, right? Not sure if it's covered in here. Let's see. Yeah, it's not covered in here, but you do have different security control categories, right? So you have three different: administrative, technical, and physical as well, right? And just to touch on them very briefly, I don't want to talk too much. Again, I want to make sure that all of these videos are based solely focused on labs and actually doing the work. But as far as these categories, right, administrative are just controls that are implemented and applied to individuals within an organization. Technical want to be the logical controls, right, which apply to the systems and devices specifically. Then you have the physical ones, right, designed to prevent any unauthorized access or at least deter them to the physical location of a data center or infrastructure in general, right? So you also have audit and assessment, right, to ensure that everything is following processes that are required to be followed, and procedures as well to make sure that the enterprise is within the confines of certain policies that the government or various lawmakers may have in place to further protect the company and the users of that company as far as the consumers, right, as far as data is concerned at least. Right, then you have, of course, regulatory and compliance policy. I mean, there's pretty much no shortage of all of those things to make sure that businesses keep in line within those frameworks and controls to make sure everything is running properly, right? So this will be the end of this video. Again, this is the end of the first video. I'm sorry, this is the last video of the first series for this series. Well, part one, rather, of this series. And in this video, just for a brief recap, we went over frameworks, policies and procedures, security control categories, audits and assessments. But we also went over the communication plan, at least a sample of one, as far as what to expect and different roles on a team and the frequency they meet and who they're reporting to as well with their updates from that particular meeting and what's expected. So there's communication amongst everybody to make sure that everyone meets the deadline. But again, this is the end of part 1, and I'll see you in the next series.